You know, when you combine his abilities, his accolades, all the star teammates that he cycled through in Houston, the forced trades, and then you add in the playoff futility, the disappearing acts, and I ain't talking about Zora Neale Hurston. When you combine the times that when the going gets tough, James Harden gets gone in the playoffs, I don't know that there is a more frustrating, disappointing, and underachieving star in recent memory than James Harden. And what's most frustrating is that we're frustrated with him and for him. I've said this plenty of times that James Harden is just he's built to be a regular season performer, and we need those. We need somebody to get us through 82 games. I mean, there's something to be said for that. You know what I mean? He does his job. His job is to entertain us during the regular season. But I've said before that the most aggravating thing to me about James Harden is that we want it more for him than he does for himself.
Ooh.
That when he says, I want to win a championship, and you force your way out of Houston to Brooklyn, and then out of Brooklyn to Philly, and then he goes out and shoots 2 shots in the second half, and really it should be 1. That second one shouldn't count. That game was over.
Yeah.
It was really 1 shot in the second half.
Down by 12, 90 seconds left in the game. That's when he put it up.
1 shot in the second half, for all intents and purposes. Yeah. Bruh, like, it's one thing to be off. Don't be out of it. Like, I'd rather go 1 for 18. Pull a John Starks. Pull a Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. Like, go 2 for 20. Go down swinging.
I'm gonna get mine.
Stay low.
I'm gonna get mine.
Stay low and keep firing, says Biggie Smalls. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, no, like, you don't go out with a whimper if you're a star player. The worst thing he said last night, because he was so passive-aggressive about his lack of aggression when questioned about it.
Because he's always like that. He's always that guy.
He said, right. He says, we ran our offense, the ball didn't come back to me. I beg your pardon? You better go get that son, bitch. The ball didn't come back to me. You better go take it. You better demand the ball. I mean, just give him something. You ain't even got to be Houston Harden. Give him something. And that's what makes it so disappointing, because there's a middle ground here. You ain't got to be Luka Doncic, who we'll get to later. You ain't got to be playoff Luka. But just be better than that. Be better than what we saw last night. But, Michael, I don't know that he wants to be better. It feels like he's content with this reputation.
Well, I just think, Mike, first of all, I got to throw an apology out there. And I've thought about this for a long time. It's been heavy on my heart. I'm going to apologize. Before Brother from Another started, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, September of 2020, I think I made the comment in August of 2020, I called Anthony Davis a loser. I said, Anthony Davis is a loser. And the more I think about him, like, no, that's wrong. Because at least Anthony Davis.
And I said wrong guy.
That's right. And and that makes me a jerk, because Anthony Davis has a problem staying healthy. Who am I to make fun of somebody who wants to be on the court but can't stay healthy? And was in a bad situation for several years in New Orleans and got them to the playoffs twice in many years, 2 times. Now, Anthony Davis is unlucky. Anthony Davis has some biological thing going on, whatever. It's a physical, I don't know. He just can't play 82. Now, James Harden's the loser. James Harden's a big-time loser. Let me tell you why. He goes out there. He plays. Like he plays a lot. When the regular season games are there, he's usually available. Last night, he played 42 minutes.
Yeah.
He's out there, but he doesn't give enough. He doesn't care enough. He's not invested enough in this, and he's always looking for the exit. He's always looking for a way out of the chaos that he created. Hey, James, the league is only so big, man. It's only so big. I mean, the 6 degrees of James Harden, everybody done played with him already. Everybody got a reputation. Everybody got a scouting report on him. So, yeah, you know, Chris Paul and Dwight Howard and Russell Westbrook and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and now he's the guy. I don't know if he's looking for an exit. This is really a stare-down contest. Who's going to leave here first? This town ain't big enough for both of us, player. So you may have to go. For him to have the arrogance and just the contentment after a game like that to say, "Oh, I'll be here," only because they're trapped. They're trapped.
Yeah. He has that player
by James Harden. And here's the other thing. I just gotta say this. That's your boy. That's your boy. That's your boy. You rode for him. You rode for him in Brooklyn. This great championship thing in Brooklyn.
Go ahead and get your shit off.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Hey, man.
I'll let you go.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Okay. And then at the beginning of this year, hey, who won the trade? You can't win the trade if you don't play. I don't know who won the trade. They both lost.
No, okay,
lost.
right. Okay, it was a lose-lose. Okay, you're right. You're right to call me. Yes. I was right at the time. Listen, them first three games when Harden got to Brooklyn, them first three games.
What an incredible duo.
Okay. All right. It was on fire the first three games. And I maintain, you cannot win a trade if the main piece doesn't play for you. And they never play for you, rumor has it, depending on which rumors you believe. And I'm talking about Ben Simmons. But this ain't about Ben Simmons, okay? Because Ben Simmons, lowest of keys, was more effective in a closeout game last year than Harden was last night. Okay?
Because he would give him something.
But hold on. Okay. So it's a lose-lose, yes. One problem for another problem. You know, two sides of the same coin is what Harden and Simmons are. But it was just a couple of days ago that you were looking at me like I was crazy for saying, matter-of-factly, not in any way a hot take, the most obvious that Tyrese Maxey is superior to James Harden at this point. You were like, what? I'm like, obviously, there's that. I have never been delusional about James Harden. I've never been delusional about James Harden. I've always been fair. I have given you shit because of your seemingly irrational hatred of James Harden.
Oh, it ain't irrational. This is why.
I said seemingly. Because I qualified it. I intentionally qualified it. Here's what's ironic. You never liked James Harden from an aesthetic standpoint. You hated the way he played. Well, he can't play like that no more. He can't take nobody in isolation and blow by him and draw fouls. So the way he played, you ain't got to worry about that no more. Therein lies the problem. The other part is, again, going back to the regular season, when he got to Brooklyn from Houston, he did put up MVP numbers in the regular season. And then he got hurt. And had he been healthy, had he been a healthy player in the playoffs, who knows? But that ship has sailed. That's neither here nor there. There is no arguing what he is and what he isn't in the postseason. And I have never said that he was anything other than this in the postseason. Michael, I want to be clear on this. There is Ben Simmons. There is Ben Simmons, not Ben Simmons. There is James Harden, the person, and there is James Harden, the regular season player. I'm talking about James Harden, the playoff performer, when I say this. Not personal. Going back to your hatred, not personal. I'm not talking about the regular season player. I'm talking about the playoff performer. James Harden, the playoff performer, ain't shit, ain't never been shit, ain't never gonna be shit. Okay. Just wanted to be clear on exactly what I was talking about. That's what he is.
Hey, and think about this, Mike. There's so many interesting layers to this. People have pointed out on Twitter. But how about this one? Joel Embiid said last night, and with that clip we played off the top, he said he's not Houston James Harden anymore. He's not that anymore. But even worse than that.
Coming from Embiid.
He's not in. So y'all traded a lot. Y'all traded an all-star, some draft picks, some role players for that guy who's not even what he's supposed to be. But even worse than that, even more damning than that from Embiid. Embiid said, you know what? We need a dude like PJ Tucker. What? Like y'all got everything in. Y'all went all in James Harden will get James Harden. And Daryl Morey, he gonna get some of this smoke too. And we just not gonna settle for any trade. If Ben Simmons needs to stay here all year, if he needs to stay for a couple years, he's got time on his contract. We not go lower ourselves.
Stick to his guns. Like, why didn't he stick to his guns?
James Harden.
Wouldn't
you should have made the deal with Sacramento.
Or how about not make a deal at all? Like, wouldn't they have been better off, given what James Harden gave them, wouldn't they have been better off just squatting on Simmons all year and running out Seth Curry and Andre Drummond and keeping those first-round picks?
Yes, they would have. And they would have been better with the team they had.
As Morey always said, and even in reports always suggested, that it's going to stretch into the offseason. Man, it would have been so much better off bringing Simmons with him all year.
He's so unreliable. He's just not reliable. He's not a guy you can count on.
On the contrary. The problem is he is reliable, and he can be counted on to do exactly what he did last night.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well,
he's actually he's reliable in the worst kind of way. He will reliably not show up when you need him most.
Sometimes good matches. Like we've romanticized this sometimes in relationships. Like, ooh, how did these people find each other? It's just like it was just fate. Shout out Bob Dylan. It was a simple twist of fate. No. Sometimes people find each other because they're wired the same. So James Harden, he didn't want to play for the young coach in Houston. Didn't want to play for him. James Harden didn't want to play for Steve Nash and with those guys in Brooklyn. James Harden doesn't want to play for Doc Rivers in Philly. You know who he wants to play for? Mike D'Antoni, another loser, another guy who's never won nothing. What'd you say? He ain't never been. This is about his coaching record. He ain't in the finals. He ain't never been it. He never will be it. So those two, go ahead, Philly. Go ahead. Cut bait, fire Doc Rivers, bring in Mike D'Antoni, and continue to disappoint.
Doc is already coming back, and Harden said it himself, I'll be back next year. I mean, listen, in a perfect world, he would opt out, and it would be just sunken costs. The whole experiment would be sunken costs. Yeah, they traded Simmons. Yeah, they traded the picks. Yeah, they traded Curry and Drummond. They ain't coming back. Harden, in a perfect world, would opt out or not opt into his player option for $47 million, test free agency, and go on his merry way, and the Sixers just pick up the pieces. Because they could do bad all by them. They could do bad all by themselves. If he opts into that $47 million, which he's likely to do, then you run it back one more year, and you hope and pray that he decides to focus on his body this offseason, reinvents himself, and he's motivated next year in a contract year with his max on the horizon. That's probably the most realistic best option if you're Philly. The last thing they should ever consider doing is acquiescing to him in any way, shape, or form in the form of personnel or coaches and giving him a 4 or 5 year maximum salary contract in excess of $200 million. Hell no. Not in a million years. Should they be even thinking about that? And if you're Daryl Morey and you're going to ownership talking about reinvesting in James Harden, then you should be fired on the spot.
You know what? Here's the other thing. James Harden is worse than Ben Simmons. Playoff performance to playoff performance, Harden's just worse. Why?
Because you expect better.
But right, he was billed.
Because Harden supposedly is a shooter.
It's false advertising.
Harden is a shooter. False advertising. Ben Simmons ain't never been a shooter.
Right.
You know?
And they talked about it. And they talked about it during the season. They talked about it during that season, during the 2020-21 season. Ben Simmons, with the back and forth with Doc Rivers, because there's always a back and forth with Doc Rivers. I'm sure we'll talk about that with the Philadelphia media. And he defended Simmons, saying, hey, he does so much more out there on the court. Am I supposed to put him on the bench? He's an all-star, all-level defender. Should be defensive player of the year, on and on.
Yeah.
Hey, but he's not a shooter. He has never been a shooter, volume scorer in his career. James Harden was brought in to make life easier on Joel Embiid. And what he is now, it's like he's a double agent.
Albatross.
Okay?
He's an albatross.
He's a double agent. He is working. He says all the right things publicly, but behind the scenes, you know what's happening. You know he's trying to get this thing. He's trying to tailor it to suit him. And if he does that, that doesn't help anybody but him.
I just don't see somebody that's consumed. And I hate to do this. I do try to be fair. But because I just don't see, I'm sure there is work that he has put in to get to this point in his career. You don't get to be as good as he's been, and at one point as dependable as he was, especially during the regular season, just when it comes to playing and playing at a high level. You don't get to be one of the 75 greatest players of all time, which doesn't sound great rolling off my tongue on a day like today. But nonetheless,
right.
You don't get these accolades without working at your craft. But it just doesn't seem like it consumes him for all the drama, all the trouble, all the transactions that are connected to James Harden, whether it's free agents or trades to bring people to Houston, whether it's throwing a tantrum to get out of Houston to get to Brooklyn, get out of Brooklyn to Philly. He carries himself and talks like somebody who wants to win a championship, but plays like somebody who doesn't give two shits.
Right. Mike, Joel Embiid said, we need PJ Tucker.
Well, no, that was a different context. It was a different context.
I know.
Different context.
It's just hilarious. It's hilarious to me, though. It's hilarious. He's right. I understand exactly what he's saying. He gave context to it. He said, they've had, no offense to the guys they have on the roster. They've had some tough guys before.
Wait, but PJ Tucker will make his presence felt. Like James Harden, is great for selling jerseys. That's great for headlines. But PJ Tucker would have given you more at both ends.
I like PJ.
Than James Harden did. No, I know you do. I know you do.
Him.
But even though it was a different context, it's still applicable to this conversation. So I'm glad you brought it up. It's still applicable. Guys that care.
And the wild thing is, man, you think about Philadelphia, what you don't want to be. Because I think this is the fourth time in the last 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, they've lost in the second round. They haven't been able to get beyond the second round. Fourth time in the last 5 years. But what they don't want to be when this thing is over, you don't want to look back and be what Golden State was before, this championship run. And what Golden State was a place you could look at and be like, man, he used to play for the Warriors too? Oh, wait, they used to have Chris Webber, and they had Tim Hardaway, and they had Bernard King and my dog, World Be Free. They had all those players, but they never won anything. Philadelphia, with Joel Embiid, has had Jimmy Butler. Philadelphia has had Ben Simmons. I know that doesn't sound like a lot right now, but they've had some guys.
I get your point.
They've had some guys come through there now.
Nothing to show for it.
You'll be able to say, we had James Harden, because if they have any sense, if it's up to them, there's no way I'm extending it. Like it can't. If he opts in, fine.
Right.
He opts out.
It's one more year, and that's not the worst thing. You run it back next year.
Don't come looking over here.
Oh no.
I'd let him go.
I'd let him go. I don't think he's the type of dude to take less. And if he does take less, not much less, not significantly less, not enough for them to bring in other pieces in free agency. Like, he ain't taking a discount. I mean, if he opts in for 1 year and you run it back for 1 year, and maybe with a full off season in the training camp, and maybe he's motivated in a way that he otherwise has not illustrated himself to be. 1 more year of it isn't the worst thing. 5 more? Nah, no way. No way in hell.
But you know what they could do?
After this break, let's talk about the opposite extreme. Go ahead. Last word. Go ahead.
But just I don't know how the salaries or the salary cap would allow this, but James Harden's due about what, $47 million?
47. Player option for 47 next year. 47.4 to be exact.
I know another guy's got a $47 million option.
Who, too. Russ?
Hey.
Who, Russ?
Thank you, Red Russ. Bring in Russ. Bring in Russ. Bring Russ to Philly.
I wish there were a team. I wish there were a team, all Albatross contract team. Let's take Russ, Kyrie, and James Harden and put them all on the same team, just for contractual reasons. But here's the problem: Russ actually does want to play. Russ actually does want to play.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.